and a very warm welcome to the very first CyberSec India Expo 2026 webinar. Days after a major ransomware attack disrupted operations at European airports, the urgency around cybersecurity has never been clearer. And today, we are delighted to have you all join us for an important discussion on ransomware resilience, strategies for detection, defense, and recovery. With ransomware attacks on the rise in India, this topic could not be more relevant. And today's session brings together some of the country's leading cybersecurity minds to share their strategies, real-world experiences, and best practices to help organizations strengthen resilience. Before we begin, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to our esteemed panelists and to all of you in the audience for taking the time to be part of this dialogue. I'm Arva Bora, Head of Conference at CyberSec India Expo, and I'll be your host today. Before we move on, I'm delighted to share that CyberSec India Expo returns for its second edition on 15th and 16th of April 2026 at Nesco, Mumbai. So you can download our show brochure. If you see at the top of your screens, there's a tab for materials. You can download our show brochure from there, and feel free to connect with our team to learn about exhibiting, visiting, and speaking opportunities at the event. Moving on, it's my privilege to introduce you to our moderator for today's session, Mr. Hetal Presswala, widely recognized as the Cyber Guru. Hetal is a visionary cybersecurity leader with proven success across BFSI, healthcare, and energy, manufacturing, construction, and oil and gas. He specializes in safeguarding enterprise systems by aligning people, processes, and technology, designing forward-thinking security roadmaps, programs that strengthen resilience, mitigate risks, and ensure confidentiality, integrity, and availability of critical information. We are honored to have him here lead today's discussion and engage our distinguished panelists in what promises to be an insightful exchange. Over to you, Mr. Hetal.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome and thanking you for joining us for today's critical and interesting discussion on ransomware resilience, strategy for detection, defense, and recovery. As we know, ransomware is now become a global threat, impacting organizations of all across sizes and industries. Attackers are increasing in frequency, complexity, and the impact. Beyond financial loss, they bring operational disruption. We know what happened in the airport, recent cases, right? And lasting reputation damages. The cost of being unprepared has never ever been higher. But today, we are not here just to discuss the problem. We are here to focus on solution. Resiliency is more than a buzzword. It's a mindset, strategy, and the framework that combines proactive detection, layered defense, and robust recovery plan. Our panel brings together experts from across cybersecurity, threat intelligence, incident response, and policy to explore how organization can build a cyber resilient future. We will dive into what's working, what's changing, and how to turn lesson learned into practical action. So with that, let's get started and unpack how we move from being a ransom victim to become a ransomware resilient. Before I wanted to start beginning with, I want my panelists, one of them, to start introducing themselves, and we'll begin with the interesting topic of cyber resilience. Vivek, if you can introduce yourself. Sorry, Vikas, if you can introduce yourself, and then you can with the Vinay, Vijayant, and then Deepak in this manner.
Okay.
Vikas, you're with us.
Thank you, Hetal. And so hello guys. I'm Vikas. So I'm having the expertise of in that security, incident response, threat hunting, threat intelligence, and worked on the some of the major ransomware attacks happens across the industry in my career. And here I'm working as in proactive defense against the advanced cyber threat attacks, especially ransomwares and like new malwares, info stealers, which were part of the ransomware comes. So I have worked upon these, and here I'm joining as a ransomware specialist as a, in the panel. Thank you.
Oh,
I'm
great.
handing over to
So,
yeah. Thank you.
Vinay, Vinay,
Thanks, Vikas and Hetal. Good evening, team. This is Vinay Nagaraj. I got around 20 plus years of cybersecurity experience, and off late, I'm the director for ISAC. ISAC basically stands for Information Sharing and Analysis Center. It's a shadow organization of Government of India. We work very closely with the critical infrastructure. So we got around 80,000 plus security researchers working with us, and we are also the custodians of the National Security Database. So that gives us a fantastic platform to have things like ransomware, the malicious actors and all under the cover and keep an intel on them. And I bring my experience today to this particular table to discuss strategies and how exactly we can be one step ahead of the malicious actors in this particular game. Thank you. Over to Vijayant.
perfect. Vijayant, you are not audible. No, I think voice is not clear. Anybody is able to hear Vijayant?
No.
No,
Vijayant?
no.
Okay, let's move to Deepak. Then probably Vijayant, you can correct the mics. So Deepak, if you can introduce yourself.
I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, team. Myself, Deepak, and I have total 2 decades of experience in cybersecurity. So I started with IT security, infrastructure security, then I moved to cybersecurity eventually. And I have been holding various positions across enterprises like Ranbaxy, Samsung Electronics, Sun Pharma, and my last job was at Dr. Reddy's USA, where I was custodian of the data and the data privacy, along with the maintenance and management of the plant infrastructure. I started my own company. I'm co-founder of ClearPhish, and that is a SaaS-based platform to increase the cyber awareness of the employees in the enterprises. So I'm here to bring my experience and share my knowledge across with all the audiences, whatever I have in the ransomware analysis and across cybersecurity domain in cybersecurity strategy framework, incident response planning, and how to prevent the and mitigate the ransomware attacks.
Oh, excellent. Vijayant?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Am I
yeah, yeah.
audible to you
Perfect.
guys?
Yes,
Great.
yes.
I think there were some
Thank
setting
you.
issues.
Yeah.
Thanks, Deepak, Vinay, Vikas, and Hetal. I hold almost 25 plus years of experience into the industry of cyber and IT domain. And I have been working closely with multiple agencies, even from the private sector, even to the government and the public sector projects too. In the past, I have headed a couple of projects like National Health Authority, Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, and I was heading that particular project in the capacity of head of cybersecurity operations and command center. And also, I had been advisor to multiple organizations in the government where exactly it was critical infrastructure. And one of the last capacities which I was holding was as a chief advisor, cybersecurity to Uttar Pradesh Power Corporation Limited. And also, I am a visiting faculty to Reserve Bank of India College of Supervisors, where exactly I train the officers on special subjects.
Wow, excellent.
Thank
So,
you.
so we have a wonderful panelist. So let's, as the ransomware is growing, we are already set the contest on it and globally. So let's look at from the India perspective. And the question to Deepak. So which sector in India are the most vulnerable to ransomware attack? And the question is why?
I think in India, since we are a growing country and our economy is expanding a lot from last couple of years or last 10 years, I would say it is manufacturing or industrial sector, which got almost 75% of all 98 reported incidents in India. And I'm not saying this from my own pocket. It is as per the certain India ransomware report, which they released in 2024. And there is a very clear trend which says that the ransomware attacks in the manufacturing is increasing by 50% year on year. So to decode the why, I would like to divide that section into two domains. One is technical reason, and second, I would say non-technical reason, which is kind of due to geopolitics and etc. So first, I would like to talk about non-tech reasons. The primary reason for anybody, be it adversary, attackers, script kiddie, or anybody who want to jeopardize the whole manufacturing line of a company, is the cost of the downtime. So if you will see in Maruti factory or in any automobile factory, every minute there are tens of cars being released for the commercial usage in India. So I would say that the adversaries are highly interested in attacking the manufacturing because the downtime cost is averaging down between $40,000 to $80,000 per minute, and that is why they are targeting that, because ultimately the hit on the manufacturing is hit on the economy of the country wherever that facility is. That is the first and the major factor that I consider, which is the non-technical reason. And the second reason, which I think is geopolitical factors. We have good neighbors, okay neighbors. We know how the geopolitics play between India and our neighboring countries. So that is the second reason, that the state-sponsored actors, they try to attack the backbone of any country, which is the manufacturing and production. Now, moving to the technical part, we all know that manufacturing is a complex ecosystem. It is built from last 30 years or 40 years. So it has a lot of legacy components. And that brings the golden opportunity for the adversaries, because they feel that they will get unpatched systems, they will get some sort of attack surface which is not being monitored, they will get a legacy protocol or configurations like the well-known Modbus TCP, which runs on port 502, and then DNP3, which lacks the native authentication. So that enables the attackers to launch a man in the middle attack, MITM attack. And manufacturing also has unpatched endpoints. Those are ICS and HMIs, because those are highly vulnerable. So I would like to mention one more point here is, in manufacturing and production, the the focus is always on the uptime. No enterprise owner want to see the downtime of a manufacturing line just because IT want to install an EDR on a system, which can maybe derail the whole packaging line on the or the manufacturing line. So these unpatched endpoints and growing CVs, aging operating systems. I've seen even Windows XP running in many manufacturing companies as on date as we speak. So that,
agree with you.
yeah, Windows XP and Windows 7, Windows Vista, they are running because the vendor who has supplied the application which is running on that, the vendor is gone, the company is closed, and now companies are living.
There's no support available.
Yeah, there are absolutely no support.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, another notable factor is third-party compromises. Like we all know, MOVIT attack, which was due to it happened in 2023. I think CV 34362, which was due to a SQLi injection, and MOVIT is a file transfer facility being used by almost all manufacturing and packaging.
All of them. Yeah, true.
I mean, we know that Polycab incident, which was due to VR Polycab event. And then we have vendor access vectors, which are the
Trusted.
I would say that many production companies often see a lot of visitors from the vendor side who are there
Correct.
to support their machines, like coaters in the pharmaceutical industry, etc. They come in, they give the team leader to somebody sitting in US, and then that is how it got disrupted. So this is what
Agree.
I feel are wise,
Perfect.
add into technical and non-technical reasons.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. So I am completely agree. So as once upon I knew even the ATM machine was also XP, if you are able to recollect. And then later on, it was changed to Windows 10. And the WannaCry actually made everybody's to move from XP to Windows 10, right? So because of the legacy protocol or SMB and so on. So I
Absolutely.
just wanted to have I wanted to have a second thoughts of the same thing from Vinay. If you can just share some of your second thoughts.
Thank you, Adil. And Deepak sir, thank you very much. I think those perspective from the manufacturing really was fantastic. But I want to, just bring a new perspective to it. I want you to think from the
Okay.
minds of a hacker or a person from a malicious actor. Okay. Now,
Correct.
sir mentioned that, from the manufacturing goes down, it's a direct hit on the economy. But think like a hacker. Do you want economy to be hit, or you want more nuisance value to be created? Right? So I
Yes.
would like to focus on the healthcare sector, where this nuisance value is
Perfect.
not only entangled with the economic loss, but also very important PII as such. Right? Let me,
Exactly.
give a glimpse into the latest thing that's happening in India. Well, we are not a great manufacturing power, but nevertheless, we have seen a lot of attacks on the manufacturing sector as of late, which has recently been captured by the DSA report as well. Why so?
Yeah.
That is basically because of the untangled geopolitics under play. We are trying to be China plus one policy, by which the manufacturing slowly shifting on to India. So the bad actors want to provide a narrative saying that India is not fit or cyber hygiene in the manufacturing sector. That's
Correct.
one. And
Yes.
two, if you look at it, most of the supply chain attacks that have happened are more like product based, like solar winds and you name it, including the one that happened
Correct.
in the airports of Europe recently. But give a
Uh,
thought, we are a service sector powerhouse. We can actually breach and get into a lot of companies using the service sector, the Tatas, the
true.
Infosys, the Wipros of the world. We are the gateway by which a lot of things can be accessed across the world. You name the continent, you name the domain, and these service sector people can help us reach there. So once
True.
again, the
True.
focus needs to be on this product based. Of course, yes, that we have got live examples, but our
Yeah.
narrative should be more on safeguarding the service sector attacks as well, because a
Correct.
fantastic gateway is the Indian landscape. So speaking in terms
Yeah.
of the proactive steps that we need to take as an organization, as an institution, as a country, we need to focus so that our brand image is not spoiled here. Coming back to
True.
the healthcare sector, there's a very important concept that's going on in the healthcare, which is harvest now, decrypt later, or rather harvest no feast later,
True.
right? So,
For
and that
quantum.
too, these are all absolutely. So this is a very sensitive stuff going on, and
Yeah.
most of the time, whenever we talk about cyber, cyber angle, or getting ourselves hardened with the sort of proactive steps that we are taking. One important step that we say is, we have got cyber insurance, we are covered. Like the most proactive step that we have taken is the cyber insurance. But
Correct.
friends, just hold on, give it a thought.
Uh,
Each and every cyber insurance has got a terms and conditions clause which says not applicable during war time.
correct.
Operation Sindoor is very much active. NATO Article 5 has been enabled.
Mm.
Please go back to your drawing rooms, look into your terms and conditions of the cyber insurance, and please check whether your cyber insurance is still covered.
Covered.
So,
Correct. Correct.
underlying thought is the threat landscape, the technical landscape is all fantastic, but also
True.
please do not undermine the geopolitics at play.
Mm.
Added to the mix, the current tensions that we have with Indo-China or Indo-US and the GCC narrative that's slowly getting built up. As a malicious actor, I want to puncture this narrative. All the GCCs that are operating, it's high time, go back to the drawing room and harden things. And whenever you
True.
talk about hardening, people talk about hardening the servers, the networks, but miss out on the most crucial thing, hardening the people, hardening the ITSM underlying configurations. Please work
Correct.
on it. And I think that would be the starting point to start this particular entire narrative with. Over to you, Hetal. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was really, I was thinking somebody should talk about healthcare because the kind of
Well,
nuances happen. Yeah, Vinay, Vijay, I will, let me complete
well,
first. I'll
Deepak,
definitely hand it over.
Deepak and Vinay, I would like to sum up to your discussion. Basically, you both had very well-versed points.
Correct.
Speaking about the healthcare, why we had an AIMS attack?
Yeah,
The reason being, and why exactly at that particular window? See, what we think is there was a cyber attack on some system or some entity or
system.
some organization, but there is a motive behind that always. So, what is the
Absolutely.
motive? That has to be understood always, and we have to understand what Deepak also mentioned and what Vinay also mentioned, that geopolitics plays the major role. I
Correct, correct.
believe the duration when exactly the AIMS was attacked, there was a theory, what I always speak, that there was some VVIP movement during that duration when exactly
Correct,
attackers wanted to retrieve the information out of the system, that what,
correct,
how, where, why. So if in case the attackers, it can be state-sponsored attack, it can be some entity which exactly wants to just make out the money by retrieving the data. It can be multiple other reasons, but we cannot deny that the geopolitical situations and the intelligence agencies, what exactly they play the major role at this moment at the international landscape, is a very very bigger game. Now we also have when we are speaking about industries, specifically the manufacturing segment and other things, it's no more behind the curtains that JLR was also attacked recently. It
Yes.
was very much in the media. It was very
Mhm.
much in all the platforms where exactly it was published about the attack. How come that happened? There was a lateral movement. So
Correct.
ultimately, we need to understand, even though if one organization is taking, 100% precautions, maybe 99%, because we cannot be 100% anytime in cybersecurity. So
Yeah,
99%, even though if we are ready, we have to ensure that our supporting entities, maybe the third parties, maybe others, service providers along with us, should also maintain the same protocols, the high standards of the security, which can actually protect the lateral movements into our own systems.
yes, that's a very important. So we are actually here. We all know we have already set the context, what's happening across the world. Now, the objective here, we all gather here is to give a solution to the people who are joined. So now let me ask the question to Vikas, to you, because he's a ransomware expert, so he brings a lot of the thoughts here. How should organization balance real-time sophisticated, especially AI/ML based threat detection with a long-term proactive defense strategy? Because that's a very key word, because we all know what's happening across the world. Important is how to detect, contain, and then do the resilience. That's a very key fact we have to focus here. Vikas, over to
Right.
you.
Yeah. Thank you. So I just wanted to give you an answer like that. So one night you are sleeping in your company, and other day morning when you're waking up, few of the systems are already gone. Your
Gone.
ransomware attack happened. Then what is your strategy? So in one day you can't make the strategy. So for making
Absolutely.
strategy, you require a lot of effort. So
Agree.
when you comes into the picture, you need to make a security strategy, how you can react when some ransomware attack is happening, or you can able to detect it proactively before some attackers came into your organization. So let's
Correct.
assume like, because nowadays what happen, attackers or APT groups are very, very sharp minded. So they are keep on changing their tactics, techniques. So as per that, like they are keep on changing. So when we talk about that WannaCry ransomware initially, when so it was a file based ransomware which was implanted
Correct.
and it was using SMB version 1. So it was
Correct.
targeting the devices with after coming into that your system. And so that's how, and now it's keep on moving. It's now we have clouds as well into our environment. So we need to have a safety procedure for the clouds as well. And what are the measurements we are taking it out as a proactively, like for that phishing perspective, like do we have the proper measurement on the initial access vectors for that attackers? Like, do we have the phishing mechanisms, internal employee trainings? So initially, like, because the only that initial vector will be that employees are clicking on some emails because they are not aware, and even on that every sector this is happening. So you need to have a proper email security solution which can detect that early phishing signs which could lead to a ransomware attack. Others are like users are visiting that websites, so you need to have a web gateway as well into your organization level, where like mostly like what happens sometimes when web related policies are not up to the mark on an organization level. So if an user is visiting some streaming sites or some malicious content, from there the user is redirecting to download some of that payload. From there, that ransomware is coming on the system. So you need to have the measurement on that side as well, internal trainings. After that, like once the attackers are coming onto your system, so that's up to them. So you need to have a better detection strategy around it. So that's when like you need to have a SOC solutions or SOC you need to have into your organization, which will be having the capability of SIM, SOAR platforms for the detections of the attack. So if any of the attack is happening, you will be having those detection strategy around it, how you can detect those. Anyways, other than that, like nowadays attackers are targeting the vulnerabilities as well. So you need to have a VMS solution as well also implanted into your organization, because any of the vulnerability nowadays attackers are using some of the vulnerabilities to like drop the web shells to get the access into the organizations. So these are the some of the loopholes from that attacker is trying to get in. So you need to have a visibility over all the layers, and that's when the concept comes defense into the depth. So when you come into the organization level, you need to keep a defense in the depth things, and you need to have a security solutions, and you need to look out into your security policy every quarter. What are the security policy measurement we are taking it out? Is it right worthy to stop a ransomware attack or not? And what are the detection we have in the place? Is it able to detect it or not? So that's how like initially we can build the detection strategy, how that ransomware can be detected. So that's my initial thought, like how we can build initial detection strategy or like preparedness if any ransomware comes into the picture. And once it comes, so that I think we can discuss on other topics. Over to you, Hetal.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's a very good thoughts that the defense cannot happen over the night. It will happen. You need to create a strategy where you need to deploy a lot of tools and technology which talks to each other and gives you signals when some anomaly happening on your infrastructure. That's very key things of it. So Vijayant, if you can provide your second thoughts, what's your view on this? How to create a productive detection strategy for the organizations?
Okay.
No matter of
Vikas,
whichever
thanks
size.
for your inputs, first of all, and I really appreciate that you have almost covered all the points, so nothing left for me. But still, some add-ons I would like to make here. That there should be a regular simulated phishing exercise which should be done in the organizations every time, and also there should be a certain surprise exercises which should be conducted in the organizations to understand whether how much we are ready to accept, or I must say that how much we are ready to defend any kind of cyber attack, including ransomware. So this is one factor where exactly we have to train every person in the organization, a specialized team, which is basically into the incident response. And also, various other subjective areas have to be taken care of. And the people have to be trained on regular basis, and they have to be assessed if in case, everything is going perfectly or not. Because what usually happens is we give an intimation to our teams that we will be having a certain exercise on so and so date, so we are mentally prepared for that.
People
But
prepared.
sometimes
Correct,
we
correct.
have a sudden surprise, simulated things, so that we can see our preparedness. How much prepared are we for any sort of situations, and how can we handle it in the best and the smooth way, so that our operations do not get hampered. And also,
True.
there is a business continuity process which can also be understood, that we are on the right stage, or we
Correct.
have to modify a few things to enhance the capability of our teams.
Agree. Correct,
And
correct.
also, there should be a proper actionable reporting mechanism, what I feel, because
Hmm.
sometimes we do browse our organizations, have people, those who usually browse and try to use the official PC for some personal work, and that's possible because banking or some other thing can be
Genuine.
done. So these kind
Correct,
of
correct.
people are actually targeted by majority of hackers through social engineering and various other moves. So we
Correct.
need to understand that that we have a proper threat intelligence team which is exactly monitoring the moves of each and every person. The behavior of every
Absolutely.
person's pattern is actually analyzed, so that once the analysis is done, there is a certain pattern which every team member or every team or the software can understand, and that can be kept into the mind. So if in case any activity beyond that particular situation arises, immediately the teams can take an action and move ahead and take
Correct.
proactive measures to actually
Perfect.
detect and also to defend that particular
Perfect.
situation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
I agree with you. I agree with you. So
these
there
are
are
a couple of
something,
points what
or
exactly I wanted to mention.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Perfectly. I completely agree. So it's very important. The organization need to be proactive in terms of detection by the various tools and technology. You need to have, like, in a country, we used to have a different kinds of weapon which targets the enemy country. The similarly, we need to also have a lot of weapons on our security portfolio that makes a proactive identification, like a adversary adversary exposure verification, right? So I always talk about where you need to know if the adversary has been published, whether the adversaries are really exposed to you or not, applicable to you or not. That's verification is very important. If you know that if verification has been done, then if it's you are exposed, then it is very important that we need to have target that first to fix it. Otherwise, what will happen? That somebody will know it, and then somebody can attacker will use that adversaries or vulnerabilities to get into your system by whichever the way is coming in. Second important is layered of defenses, which is very, very important. You need to have a zero trust. You need to have a honeypots, which gives the signals on your system, so that when the real attack happens, so he will get stuck somewhere. He will not move to your crown jewels, right? So it's somewhere you will have to be identify the signals with the same and sword, where you can do the further deep dive analysis, and then you will be able to detect and defeat there and there itself. So important is detection, contain, then recover, start recovering it. If you don't contain, then it creates a lot of chaos, because system will damage, and then probably you will have a lot of chaos on the systems. So my another question I wanted to ask that
Hital, if I can
how
just
do we,
add to this in just 2 words, if
yeah,
I
yeah,
can just add
sure,
to it.
sure, why not?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, please.
Uh,
It is for
Hital,
everybody.
basic.
You
Thank you. So, basically, Hital, if you talk about the entire threat landscape, there are two elephants in the room, and we always tend to negate the other one. There is the IT world and the OT world, and
OT world.
the attitude with which we tame these elephants is entirely different. In IT, we have all got all sorts of preemptive solutioning. The entire research
Correct.
and development is through the preemptive world. Whereas in the OT world, even if I tell you that there's a patch that needs to be, vulnerability that needs to be patched, you will not be in a position to do it immediately. You will have to have n number of
Agree.
alignments with your vendor network and your supply chain to even go ahead and pass that. So it's more of a reactive world in the OT environment, and which is the most crucial in terms of
Absolutely.
the critical infrastructure. Having said that, there's one more very important thing that we need to call out, and that is, like, in cybersecurity, one golden rule that either you're breached or you don't know that you're breached. So
Yeah,
that
please.
basically means that there are vulnerabilities, there are doors through which someone can enter your
Open.
system.
Can
And our
enter the system.
entire solutioning is basically trying to find out that particular door, but not exactly whether someone has used that door and already crossed in or not. So like what you just
Awesome.
mentioned, that honeypots and all, that is basically the technology by which you will come to know whether someone who was dormant in your system has got
Government.
activated or not. So even when
Sleeper
you
cell is
talk about,
available or not?
absolutely. So even when you talk about the bug bounty programming or external security researchers and all,
Correct.
everyone is concentrated on the vulnerability section, not
Correct.
activating those vulnerabilities. And this is exactly where the attitudinal change needs to happen. That was just a
I,
small pointer. Thank you.
no. You are absolutely right, because
I would
I
like to
also.
add a third category to your two. I would like to add the third category. The first
Yeah,
category,
please.
what you mentioned, is the people, those who know that they have been breached. The second category, the people, those who do not know they have been breached. There is another third category, that they know that they have been breached, but they don't want to do anything about
They,
it.
they don't know about it. So I completely agree the way you said, right? So one of the conversation which I had with the OT team, so they were not ready to put the username password at all. It has to be plain text. The moment you access, you should be able to see. I had a tough fight with them. Forget about I was going into the encryption, so they were not putting the username password to access the OT devices. They were little, have a lot of resistance level there. And then after a lot of brainstorming and then discussion, communicating in what could go wrong and all, then they realized that what can happen to the critical infrastructure. Then I went into 8-bit of encryption. You can't believe 8-bit of encryption. I built it for the OT system, where it encrypts from the OT device to the central database where the data has been pumping. So it's a kind of, you feel when you're talking with the OT team, they are still living in the stone age. They are not into the real world now, right? So you need to be, while talking to them, you need to be little like that, and you need to understand their perspective. The moment you understand, they will really would like to do, because I had a tough time to work on, as you said, right? One of the competitors said that, participant said that the uh, manufacturing devices, L1, L2 network, where the manufacturing happens, right? So on that device, nobody wanted to touch at all. Nobody wanted to do it. But we had come build the confidence to the people. It's all about people. If you give a confidence to the people, they will love to do it. But if you say no, you need to do this by order, they'll not do it.
Right.
For sure. So you need to be,
What people try to do.
into their shoes and understand their perspective, and give a confidence. If something happens, we will revert it back, and give some kind of that confidence. Then will definitely they'll love to do the further level of enhancement in the OT system. So it was
Yeah,
really
we have a
interesting.
different mechanism of we have a different mechanism of explaining the things. If we actually explain the things with a reasoning, a proper
Yeah.
reasoning, I believe there is
Correct.
nothing impossible in this world. What we try
Yes,
to do is we
absolutely.
try to fix up, the engine of Mercedes Benz in a Maruti
Huh.
800. I don't think that's very much possible. So, we have to understand the challenges, we have to understand the
Absolutely.
atmosphere, we need to understand various aspects related to OT and IT, in fact, and we have to
Correct.
understand the way exactly the organizations are working. We need to understand that particular structure, and then try to train the people, and then try to make them understand that what is the need of what kind of technology and how it can safeguard.
Correct. So all these things where you need a organizational buying, and both the organization buying, wherever you are engaged with, it's very important. The leadership buying is very important. If that
Absolutely.
comes cultivate into the system, then probably it will happen, that will get married, and then we'll be able to definitely all together. There's nothing impossible. We can always defeat the adversaries if you have a right collaboration with each of them. So my next question to Vinay, to you.
Hetal, I
Uh,
think
I
Deepak
just
ji has
wanted to.
something important to say. I'll come to the question.
yeah,
Deepak sir, yeah.
sure.
So Hetal, so I just wanted to add a fresh perspective. You said that
Okay.
you have seen the facility where people were not able to ready to use the username and passwords, right?
Correct, correct.
I've seen this with my own eyes. In I won't name the company, but you know why they were acting like that. So I believe that the CISOs, CIOs, the IT leaders should work with empathy when it comes to
Yes,
the cybersecurity, and that also
correct.
means that you have to understand why they want to do that. So I have spoken with a lot of people on the packaging lines, especially the fast-moving items, and they said that they have a pressure from their manager that
Correct.
they have these numbers in 1 hour. When I spoke with the manager, he told me that my boss has told me. When I spoke with his boss, and he told that the production head is measuring OEE, operational excellence, and he want to ensure that we release n number of items in 1 hour or 2 hour, and there is a clock
Correct.
ticking in. So I think that the root cause of this is the CISOs or the IT leaders who is managing that show is not able to convince the impact or risk of the cybersecurity to the business leaders. So that goes into the boardroom now.
Correct.
I think as a cybersecurity leader, we need to think that cybersecurity is not an IT issue. Cybersecurity is a
Absolutely.
business issue which can impact the
Everybody's
business.
issue. It's
Yes,
everybody's issue, and it is not. It is not at all that my KPI is impacted. If
correct,
cyber incident happen, everybody's impacted in the organization.
correct,
So that has to be taught to the everybody.
absolutely. Yeah.
So
Thank
Deepak,
you.
I believe
So
what I mentioned was we need to have a proper reasoning. As you
Yes,
mentioned
yes,
that the four levels did not
right,
know what to do and
right,
why to do. So proper reasoning is
absolutely,
correct,
always required until unless we make somebody
correct,
understand. Even though, when we try to teach the kids in the younger generation, we need to teach them the same way.
correct.
So so the way you said, right? So I wanted to put my some perspective. So today we are talking about CIS benchmarking and all, right? So I was on a year 2000, 2001. I'm talking of that story. So we were doing the CIS benchmark those days, right? And establishing control on systems, Unix system, and all of them. So when we wanted to touch Finacle E10, we wanted to do, that's the heart of the entire core banking system. But honestly speaking, with the management, and I gave the confidence how and which way we could do it, right? The only importance management buying was available. They are ready. If somebody wanted to own it and then somebody to want to execute in the interest of organization benefits. So that has to be come out. And it's not that no, normally what happens, CISO is, okay, you do this, he publishes this policies, he publishes the hardening and then do it. But he don't understand, he don't work with the IT team in terms of how and which way can be done. And if it's happening, some of the controls are not working, give a relaxation, exception or something, right? That is very key important. If you are take a stick and say, do this will not going to happen. And that's where the resistance starts, right? So
Yeah,
anyway, though,
Hetal,
my next question,
just to add on to that, since you actually started that topic of core banking without naming any company, I would like to just say core banking because that's part of the NCIPC defined critical infrastructure in India. The
okay,
majority of the cyber crimes that's happening in India, which is the single largest organized crime right now, that is basically because of deficiencies in the core banking. I say it with full responsibility because of the mule accounts that are existing, because of the
absolutely,
non-illogically formed policies of core banking which are not been tuned to the modern economy, especially
modern
after digital
economy,
India has been rolled out. So as
correct,
you mentioned, core banking solutions, it's very important that the OT world or so-called core banking world that has not matured enough to take care of digital Indian requirements and the policies. So that was just a passing thought.
correct.
Thank you.
So that what you are saying is absolutely true. Their Finacle is being evolved in terms of
I think let's
banking
avoid the
side of it.
product or the banking. Sorry.
Okay, my next question to you, Vinay.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
building the resiliency in the defense system, what are the steps can organization take to ensure employee awareness around the ransomware threats and the phishing attacks?
Well, Hetal, I like to just handle this in multiple levels. One is that when it
Okay,
comes to the employee themselves, we always try to differentiate between employees, the clients, the supplier systems, and other things. But when you think from a ransomware perspective or the attacker's perspective, they are all one and the same. I would like
correct,
rather look out for the weakest link and how I can maximize the impact using that weakest link. So whether
correct.
you are doing a well-trained training programs, that's absolutely okay. But I would like to do social engineering and get across whether it's your employee or third party or supply chain immaterial for me. And I'd like to just highlight one more thing out here. Whenever we talk about taking care of vulnerabilities and maximizing the vulnerability stuff, we fail that we need to action as one single team. I'd give you an example. For example, your best security researchers might be totally concentrated about finding vulnerabilities, but you might not be having a dark web intel team which will actually tell you what data is available of what industry, what partner in the open web, by which you can actually do a reverse engineering and find out what exactly is the vulnerability, where is the door. It's like Alibaba trying to find out where exactly is the cave door by doing reverse engineering. So this sort of cross domain awareness in terms of your security researchers itself, that's lacking, number one. Number two, as I was just mentioning, we going for a very sort of generic solutions, for example, zero trust architecture, just putting it blindly on the systems, and we expect the magic to happen. That is not going to happen because our application stack is not fully zero trust capable enough or cloud native enough. So there are enough ways by which you need to customize your environment, customize your landscape to ensure that fantastic solutions like zero trust can actually be applied and give you the 100% trust out of it. That's second. Third and most important is that thinking like an attacker. When you are in dormant state and then you get activated, how is that you can navigate across the system and find your crown jewels immediately? And out here, most of the time, a very important team in your organization is left out and it's not giving its due importance. And I since come from this particular team, the incident management team, the crisis management team, I can vouch it that if I am an attacker, I would basically go ahead and compromise your incident management team, make them blind so that they cannot coordinate within your organization. And how do I do it? Your ticketing tool, if I take it down, the incident management team will not be able to interact with the window team or the network team, coordinate and get them on a MIM call, or you will not be able to communicate. It's like you're trying to catch a thief, you shoot and you puncture the tire, not the thief himself. Why? To slow him down. But this particular thing can be done by an attacker so that you don't have a clue about whether I gone from a dormant state to an active state. I basically take away your capacity to respond. And added on
Correct.
top of it, the best practices, we only talk about it, we do not cover the entire part. Basic things like configuration management, asset discovery and management is non-existent in many organizations. They might be there on
True.
Excel sheets, but one team will not have a cross visibility about the other place where that assets are kept. One single fine day, you realize that there is a Windows server which is not passed since 2000, or you don't
Yeah.
even know a shadow database existed somewhere, which is actually going to be a cause for your breach. And this is the point where we really need to look forward all those particular things and patch it up, specifically when DPDP is around the corner. So whether you call it as a breach, you call it as a ransomware, this is actually going to start pinching you once the DPDP comes. So it's very
Yeah.
important that you pay attention to all this particular infrastructure lacunae that exists across your server farm or people farm or whatever you would like to call it. Thank you.
Yeah, 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 agree with you. So, Deepak, if you can provide the second thoughts.
Yes, thanks, Hetal. And I think Vinay has summarized almost everything. But since this is my favorite topic, I'm working on the cyber awareness part from last 5 years, and we have built a unique and patented technology for the enterprises. I would like to add a few important aspects. So I will divide it into the what you need to do and how you need to do. So when it comes to what, I feel that the enterprises need to combine the technical trainings with the excuse me, behavioral science, which means that you need to incorporate how the employees behave or how somebody is getting triggered by seeing a particular type of emails. And you should always take the references from the global standards, like ISO 27001 2022. There is a clause 7.3 which mandates the training ISMS, and 6.3, which mandates the cybersecurity awareness trainings. Then NIST SP 850, which has a 4-phase models. You can take the reference from that also. And then Government of India Advisory 13 has the guidelines for the cyber awareness trainings. RBI also have the guidelines, and then there are CISA guidelines. Now coming to the how, which is again the puzzle box for many enterprises, because they will say that I have allocated that much of budget to the cyber awareness, which I'm going to spend with. I'll just buy any tool which will do the phishing simulation and cyber awareness training, and I'll just check the tick box. And because my GRC body want to receive a report that all the employees have been trained, and that's it. So first of all, we need to get rid of that mindset that employee awareness training is a kind of a low priority task. It is very, very important for CISOs and CIOs and for the employees to undergo the trainings. And how you can do it? You have to assess the baseline first, how much water you are in, which means that you have to gauge the PPP, which is fish prone percentage of all the employees, and how they behave for a particular kind of emotion, whether that is greed. So I'll just wanted to highlight one thing here. Uh, so I would say that whenever a attack happens, it is not happening overnight. I hope you all agree that it is not something built into the ecosystem in a few seconds. The attacker do at least a recon or recce of the organization for at least 15 days or 20 days. He will understand and everything, how the organization is working, where are they into the media and news, who is CIO, CISO, MD, director level people. For the deep fake audio scan, they will try to figure out whether any leadership has spoken on the public platform so that they can clone the AI voice to the AI platform. So they do a lot of recon. And most of the platforms that we use currently, what we do is we generally send the templates which are ready-made available in various tools. I'm not trying to name any, but now is the time that IT leaders should think like an adversary. They have to send the phishing emails which can correlate with the employee behavior in the organization. For example, Mr. Vikas is and Mr. Vinay are working in the organization, and I'm a attacker. I know how Vikas and Vinay coordinates with each other. So if I'll send an email to Vikas Khandelwal pretending to be Vinay with the exact same tone, exact thought processes that Vinay puts on the table, Vikas might think that yes, he's the real Vinay. So I mean, we have to leave the template-based trainings and we have to craft the special and custom emails. So this is how about you access the baseline, and post that you have to design and develop your own training program, not just buying and ready-made LMS solution, because there are plenty of LMS solutions. You have to find out the best suited for you. Even you have to hire the designers. You have to hire the designers. Talk with your department leaders. Create a program, implement and deliver that program, and then continue to monitor and measure the effectiveness of that particular program. And lastly, the continuous improvement. So these are the points that I want to add on. Hetal, thank you.
Yeah, perfect. So it is really good, but yeah, somebody wanted to talk about on the same subject.
Just I wanted to add one more thing, as we were talking about that, like how we can give the trainings to the employee. So nowadays, what I found, so that everyone in that world is behind that AI and chat GPT or like AI solutions, right? To get the answers very quickly. So in the organizations, we need to provide the training to the employee, like what are the best policies to use the AI solutions, because those are the major threats now happening, and people are downloading directly malicious softwares from there. Like they are prone to get ransomware attacks, which are not even getting detected at that endpoint level or EDR level, because those are directly running in the memory. So in those scenarios, like we need to have a good policy how employees are using the AI solution into the organization, and organizations need to have a good risk policies around the AI solutions, what they are using it.
True. Yeah, true. So another, it's a very good perspective. The another important is in terms of phishing attack. The people also need to be taught about how and which way need to be detect, like display spoofing, what is being clicked, what is the actual URL, how it has been heading towards, how do you hover over this one. These are all very key things which you need to be taught into the session. And very importantly, is we always talk about the general public. It is also important the developer, as the Vikas talk about, the people are now using ChatGPT and they will download the code from that. So there is a, that the code which also talks about the malicious code inside it, which will talk entire information and then send it across. So I don't want to name one of the organization where the developer has built the API from the GitHubs and others. And what used to happen, whatever the transaction happens, all the details we used to go to that attacker. Can you imagine? Now, these are very key things where you also need to give a awareness to the developer. Don't completely rely on the tools available like AI, the ChatGPT and GitHub and all of them, because there are a lot of codes available there, right? But it has to be understood what are the consequences. Secure coding is a one key thing where we all need to bring into the table or in the system. While doing it, what is the efficacy of the code? Whether it is right, wrong, or there is some kind of malware is going to be downloaded over the period. It's a time bomb. It's actually a time bomb. So it's very important that we all need to be, ensuring that these are the awareness as well as what is the do's and don'ts need to be clearly communicated to every kind of it. Most importantly, the vendor. So for example, vendor portal, right? So vendor do the registration and all of them. They are not, they are least bothered about setting up their password strong. Now, who's in the impacted party? We are the impacted party because it's connected to our systems, right? So here also very key important things where we ensuring that the vendor also need to be talked about what is cybersecurity. We should keep on publishing the way how the certain everybody is campaigning, right? So we need to do the campaigning to our partners, third parties, that what are the do nots in case some cyber threats happen there. It has to be collaboratively communicate so that we can be able to contain. So if something happened to our partner, it has to communicate it to the principal also, so that he will take a precaution step in his system as well, because they are all get connected, right? In today's world, everything is get connected, and then they should take the proactive measures. So that's a very key thing we all have to be, worked upon. So my next question to uh, Vikas.
Hetal, just wanted to add a particular point here, because whenever we
Yeah.
talk about social engineering, there's always a contextual reference to it. Let me give you a quick
Yeah.
two examples for the audience out
Uh,
here so that they can take back something home. Let us
okay.
take this particular go-to meeting itself. So every one of you
Uh,
registered it, and with full due respect, if I had sent out this particular meeting link to all the security professionals out here, by being a malicious actor, I could have actually compromised Arva's email or something, and I would have got captured of almost like 100, 150 security researchers out here, people from the security world, just by compromising one email from the people who are conducting this particular platform, right? So this is one example of where a social engineering is with a contextual reference, that there's a go-to meeting which is going to be held on 4 p.m. That is with due respect. Second thing, what we have seen is that there's one more fantastic example going around, especially with defense officers or ex-employees, or for that matter with
hmm.
security people from the security world. There is this particular app which comes down to you in your WhatsApp saying that this is a soft version of an app which will give you all news in one single page, one single go. Now that's a fantastic platform for any particular malicious actors to be you know taking a quick look and spreading it across to all the security community or all the defense community or all the ex-servicemen, you name it, you replace the target groups. But the idea is someone is creating a platform which is not properly security hardened, and then that particular platform is used as a threat malicious act for malicious actors. So whenever you come across such particular groupings, please be a little aware, please be a little cautious.
Yeah.
This is nothing but a way of social engineering. I think this is the message that I want to give it to the entire community to take it back home. Thank you.
Perfect. Perfect. So now we all talked. So far we talked about detection and the resiliency. Now all things while happen, if some catastrophic event happen, the important is no matter what, business should run, right? So my question is around how do we continue the business, right? So what are the key considerations when designing a business continuity plan in the face of ransomware threats? So question to Vikas, if you can answer this, because the business continuity is very, very key, important stuff to make their business running, no matter what.
Yeah. So in the business continuity perspective, so nowadays, even though like you are seeing, whenever somewhere attack is happening, so entire organization is getting down. Is the thing that entire organization is getting down. Either you see that recently Jaguar attack happened, or either you see recently cyber attack happened on the some of the airports, right? So there is a if there is an attack, entire organization they try to take it down, or some part of the organization they tries to take it down, attacker, to get their motive done, because they need some ransom amount, or they need some financial motivation, or they wanted to impact their reputation, brand reputation. That is the only motive the attacker have. So how you need to plan for the business continuity? So initially you need to design your infrastructure like that. You need to have a BCP or DR solution, disaster recovery solution you need to have. Or if you are having a backup, what type of backup you have? Is the backup in safe place? So is it both the backup as well as at the server in the same place or same zone? So if no, if both of them are in same zone, so in that the scenario could be happen that backup also get infected. So you need to have both and the different zones. So that's how like initially you need to create a business continuity plan, as well as what I understood as my experience knows. So some of the area or some of the users which are getting impacted, so that you need to restrict them. First of all, you need to restrict the access of them, and you need to find out which threat actor which is targeting the organization. Based on that system which are getting infected initially, you need to identify what are the things happens, which all are the systems it got infected, what are the initial vectors, and which all are other system getting targeted where the lateral movement happened. So all of these infrastructure you need to mark it out, and later on you need to find out which all are the functionality got affected due to these systems got affected. Then you need to make a start plan with with the content where you need to like take entire security team together until CISO or CEO. So you need to make a decision. So these are the system units are down, and what are the backup plan for this? Do we have actually backup plan for this or not? Or we need to make a shutdown for some time or some day. So that's how initially you need to make a plan on the business continuity side. And then you can start for the incident response procedure for the ransomware, how we need to mitigate it. So first we need to make sure that do we have the business continuity plan, then only we can move it for the incident response procedure, and how we can make the infrastructure up and running again. So that's my thought on the business continuity.
Yeah, it was great, great.
Great.
Vijayant,
I would like
second
to
thoughts
sum
of
up,
yours.
yeah, I would like to sum it up. Vikas, in fact, Vikas had been a researcher, and he himself has been doing a lot of tasks. So he has got lots of practical knowledge. And on top of it, I
Real
just
world
wanted to,
knowledge.
sorry?
It's a real world knowledge.
Absolutely. And that is how exactly, one person actually learns and, give advices to the world. So I think we all come from the same stage where exactly, we have been into multiple things, but, we are, supporting the world at this time. So in the backup strategy, I would like to add that they should be offline and encrypted and immutable backups of all critical data. And I would also like to add a point on data redundancy, that storing the data in multiple locations, ensures that a single point of failure won't cripple the organization. So ultimately, we have to understand that, data, all the eggs cannot be put into the same basket.
Some
Because
basket.
if in case
Correct,
something
correct.
is happening, so we need to ensure that at least we have some in our hands. And
Will there
then
at least 3
again,
copies?
yeah. So disaster recovery framework, definitely, that can be implemented, and we can make recovery time objectives for various things and prioritize the systems to restore first, and that's going to give
Yeah,
us an upper hand, and makes an organization stand on its legs immediately.
correct.
And regular testing is something what is required. I told even half an hour ago that there should be sudden surprise checks or exercises which should be conducted, where exactly we can understand, we can test our capabilities, and we can do the disaster recovery drills immediately. And that has to be done not in a I can say a span of once in 6 months, but I believe that can be done once in a year also sometimes. But yes, as we make any sort of changes in the system anywhere, any sort of upgradation, even minor, I think immediately after that we should have the testing for all this. So we should not
Yeah,
wait that we'll do it periodically, maybe after 365 days, because according to the books or ISO 27000, it's been mentioned that you have to go through something around at least biannually. So we cannot take that. If in case we have made some
correct.
sort of changes on some kind of system anytime, we need to ensure
Hmm.
that once that is live, immediately after a couple of days we should actually test our system, or maybe during upgradation itself, immediately after that you can do that too. And also I would like to sum up communication plan, because communication plan, as we mentioned, that ticketing tool goes off, what exactly happens?
Hmm.
How are we going to
Hmm.
communicate? If in case somebody hacks the email of the critical people, how are they
Hmm.
going to communicate then? So there has to be a proper communication plan which has to be made, that who are the key people, those who will be part of the communication, how the communication will be made, their phone numbers have to be active. Because I have seen this particular kind of hierarchy in many of the organizations in the past, where exactly one person thinks that I should not be bothering my CISO, because my immediate manager will go and actually update him.
Hmm.
Yes.
But immediate manager's phone is actually not reachable, and he's waiting for immediate manager to actually respond back.
Hmm.
So no, there has to be a protocol, definitely, but yes, there has to be a proper communication channel. If in case class 1 is not available, class 2 has to be ready, and class 2 has to be communicated on priority, so that things can move fast.
Correct.
We are
Agree.
not standing at the same point for long hours, because initial hours are very, very critical, or initial time frame of
Yes,
a day or two is very, very important. I've seen the organizations
correct.
facing the trouble for almost 15-20 days continuation. Their operations is
Hmm.
gone. As Vikas was
Wow.
also speaking about Jaguar Land Rover, so that's a classic
Jaguar.
example. Almost 12, yeah, JLR. For
Yeah,
13 days, there were, the plants were off. People were not able
yeah,
to work. So just believe that we also, and also, Vinay, your point, I would like to add here, that threat intelligence plays the major role. You cannot ignore it
correct.
anytime.
Very true.
And
Correct.
you also have to understand that what is the work structure of your organization, what kind
Hmm.
of contracts you are going to have with multiple organizations, or what kind of discussions you are having with multiple countries or the states or
Hmm.
entities. Keeping them in mind, you need to ensure the practices, and your threat intelligence team, your security operations team will have to be ready, because any kind of talks, geopolitical situations, and all this can actually influence and create ransomware attack or maybe a cyber attack on your entity. And
Hmm.
we have also seen in the past, because my investigations reveal, because I personally investigate too, so my investigations have revealed that the major organizations do face this kind of challenges, because one, reputational issues. Second thing, some state doesn't want them to involve in business or have
Hmm.
some sort of deals with any other state or other entity.
Hmm.
So we have to take care of these things, and we cannot ignore it. And that is how
Correct.
exactly business continuity process has to be planned up and changed. And they should see, one has to be a business continuity process for the longer flow, but at certain given point of time, there should also be kind of business continuity plans which are supposed to be made for a smaller amount of time, looking at the impacts of the discussions
Correct.
or the deal or the communications we are having in the business.
Correct, correct. So that's a very key point things which you have mentioned. It's about doing the how we do that cyber drill. It's a DR drill. So we need to also do the cyber drill. So in the cyber situation or some ransomware event activity, how quick and fast a business can, reproduce or recover from the damages whatever is going to happen, and then making that business to be continue on the most critical infrastructure, right? So that's a very key things where you need to architect your entire ecosystem in such a way that
Absolutely.
in terms of if something happens, what is the my key 1 or 2 3 steps need to be known to everybody in the system. Everybody should know about their roles and responsibility, communicated to the conduct such kind of exercise, right? So we are not the Dhoni, right? So one day we go and cricket and then we put the sixers on every ball. Not possible. You need to practice. The practice is only way you will be able to achieve the milestones. So it is very important for every organization that on a business continuity front, identify the critical infrastructure, have the role and responsibility established with everybody, communicate to everybody what they have to do in such kind of scenario, conduct the drill, and making sure how quick we are making this business running in a how much shorter duration. And then KPI of the people should be, if they were previously they were able to recover from 1 hour, how are they reducing year by year? That's a very key important role it has to be. That's how the evolution happened, right? The technology is coming, so and the people are working. So it is people, processes, and the technology has to be married together to make the critical infrastructure up and running, and it has to be work together. So
I think Vinay has got a point here.
Yeah, Vinay.
Just wanted to add to this, Hetal, like there is one particular situation that we can learn from the airport industry on how to handle this BCP, the concept of isolation bay. Like Vijayant gave a very real life example of handling ransomware situations. What usually happens is that when you take your backups and then try to restore it, there's a very high chances of getting reinfected. So until unless your concept of isolation bay, it's not going to work out, and your recovery time is going to increase. But the problem is such particular things will not be taken care by the people who give in the budgets. So this isolation bay during operational time can be used like sandbox environment for R&D, and during backup sort of crisis situations it can be used for bringing up your backups. That was point number one. And another important point is that looking into the trends, and especially in terms of the geopolitics and the current situation wherein you are tended to pull the trigger, please be aware of false flag operations as well, wherein a malicious actor can go to social media and then say that I have breached XYZ company, where in reality nothing would have happened. And one department in the company would be talking to other, mera to nahi hua, aapka hua kya? So that way, no one is going to save you. No organization is going to come and give a media statement saying that no, we can verify that such a thing did not happen. Or even if your CISO comes and gives a statement, no one is going to buy it. So please have best practices in practice on the ground, wherein you can take care of such false flag operations as well. This is just a sincere request. Thank you.
No. It's absolutely right. What you're saying is that's how the way the threat actors are, works, making the disruption, the operation, making that it's become vulnerable. The moment you create a crisis situation, people are tend to give the open up automatically, right? So that's how the they use the mind games to do this for the organization. That's really right. So as you said, talks about, right? So I wanted to have a quick response from everybody. How can organization ensure effective strategy to recover from ransomware attack? So that's a very important. Backup strategy is the one which you have talked about, the immune system. That's one. What should be strategy should be organization should have. So no matter what can be recovered. Yeah. I don't know, something happened.
Like to take it first?
Hello.
Yeah, Hetal,
I
sir, we
think
can
there's
hear
some network issue. He'll be rejoining shortly. Maybe we can start with the responses of the question that he asked.
Yeah. I don't know, something happened automatically. I don't know. So, so how the organization recover from the, what is the right strategy should organization adopt for cyber in case? Because as you said, the backup is also happened. Immune system, right? So there is a, what should be your thought process on this? Vinay, you already talked about immune system and the way. What about Vikas?
Yeah, so for recovery perspective, as per my understanding, you need to start with the incident response life cycle on an incident when the ransomware incident has already happened. So you need to get to know, first of all, how you will get to know that this ransomware attack happened. Either some production issue happened or some employee informed that my system got locked. How you get to know, and what part, in which area it got infected, like which level of infection it happens. So that blast radius you need to identify. What blast radius is for this ransomware attack happened in your organization. Then after that, like after you find it out, then you need to so you get to know, and get to know what is the blast radius and what are the impact due to that, which all are the servers are down, which VPNs or which VLANs are getting down. So you got all the information. Then you need to start an incident bridge on in your organization, where you need to involve all the vendors which are part of that incident. Either they have their servers got compromised, or they are the end user who got compromised, as well as your security team entire, and so all of the team which are the stakeholders for that. So you need to involve all the team members, and you need to go in a bridge to identify what could be the cause. And for that, like, you need to initially identify what strain of the ransomware, which ransomware came, and how it came. You need to map it with your threat intel. So every organization need to have a good threat intel resources, right? And with that threat intel, you need to identify what was the motivation of this threat actor that came into your organization and targeting this particular area. Is it by mistake they came, or they are planning to do some bigger attack after that? Or we
So,
found it out initial point of time, this ransomware, like on the first system or second system, or they might have that chances, they might have infected thousands of system as well later on.
correct.
So you need to identify what is the motive initially. Later on, like, you need to go on the incident bridge, and you need to isolate all of the devices which are infected. And then you need to start your incident response procedure to identify what is the strain behavior for that. And you need to involve your malware team, malware analysis team, because sometimes what happens, some ransomware came. So when you check with the threat intel, there is some specific behavior. But when you come and check in your lab, the same sample can be do some other things or other TTPs as well into your organization, or some other adversary they can perform. So you need to identify those, and you need to look for that. And later on, you need to look what are the lateral movement in your organization happened, which are the other system infected, how much organization infected, do we need to involve. So some of the organization have the ransomware negotiators as well. So they will
Yes.
negotiate the ransomware people as well. So you need to have, if you have that ransomware negotiator, you can negotiate with them. Otherwise, like, the best policy is that if any of the system is compromised, you need to isolate it and reimage it, not to use the system with their keys, because it can be infected again, and you don't know what is the way they came. So you need to find out the initial cause, and you need to block that. And what are the
Correct.
communication is going out, C2 communication, those are making. So those things you need to block it out. And as
Correct.
like we look for the BCP plan, then we need to start looking for the restarting of our systems one by one, how we can ensure that new systems are built and the systems are up and running, and the functions what we need to do in the organization that's are up and running. So that's how, like, initially recovery plan or incident response plan you need to make for an ransomware. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Vijayant?
I think I'll back up Vikas right here, and definitely he mentioned all the points. So handling ransom demands is something what exactly is quite important these days. And I have negotiated in the past for some organizations because they actually went through this kind of situation. And surprisingly, I have two strange incidents in terms of negotiations when I did negotiations in the past. So one was when exactly the organization itself started negotiating, they actually figured out, they were asking for a very huge sum, and the ransom, the hackers basically were not getting down on the cost because the kind of sample data they were providing was quite sensitive, and definitely there was a loss. So these guys started, negotiating, but somehow that didn't turn up to be well. And now, when exactly I got involved, by the time already, these guys had paid some money to them, and despite saying no, they started paying in bitcoins because that's a favorite place where exactly most of the the dark web
Payment
guys
happens.
would like to get paid. Yeah,
Yeah.
remittance. So they gave the dump of the keys at the later stages, and none of the encryption keys actually worked.
Okay.
So believe me, that was quite surprising. And then I had to coordinate with the hackers team. Somehow we established the contact. After hunting them down for almost a week long, then they provided some sort of keys and which exactly helped partial systems. So this is one kind of education what I would like to give, that sometimes we feel that paying money will solve the problems,
No.
but that doesn't do that.
No.
Does
So
not.
it's
Correct.
better to talk to the best advisors available and negotiate.
Correct. Yeah.
And
So
the second important factor I happened to go through was one of the organizations had some sort of attack, and surprisingly, when I started negotiating on to release the systems for no payments, the hackers say we will not be able to release the systems 100% but partial systems. I said, if you want some money, you can take it. They said we don't need money. So what is that they are working for? We need to understand the psychology of the hackers too.
correct.
So
Correct.
remuneration, recognition, and rewards. These are the three kind of systems on which exactly all this, the world works. And they were looking for the name in the market that, they can do something really wonderful. So they were not looking for
Wonderful.
money at that particular moment. So,
They wanted them.
sometimes, negotiations doesn't mean that you go straight away ask them for money. Yes, if there is a demand, then we can actually try to negotiate, asking them very simple and proactive questions. Otherwise, we can keep it simple talk, and we can negotiate simply as well. And yes, one important thing, that when it comes to the state-sponsored attacks, you will never get any sort of traces. Even though if you are going to hunt them for 15 days, 20 days, or a month, you will not find somebody coming in front and asking you even a single penny. And
Correct.
the communication mode through which they communicated will be all temporarily created and generated. So
Very true.
believe me, these are the real practicalities of the world where exactly, one has to understand how ransomware attacks do work, and post ransomware attacks, how the things have to be handled or managed.
Yeah. True. I completely
And
agree. So
post incident review, that's one of the things what exactly was an important factor Vikas has actually covered. So these are the areas which is which are basically into the post incident review, and these are the points we see in always. You cannot oversee them, but you have to see them.
yeah.
Deepak,
Yeah.
if you want to add
Vijayant,
something.
Sorry, Vinay.
Deepak.
Deepak, if
Yes,
you want to
yes.
add something, or else I would like to go. Yep.
Yeah, just a small comment. So we can recover only if we have the right data or the correct data or
Absolutely.
unencrypted data. So I mean,
unencrypted.
unencrypted data, of course, because most of the times we have seen the hackers have encrypted the backups also. So, and every enterprise has a different strategy, but I would like to focus on one of the best data backup strategy, which is called 32110 rule.
Correct.
It means
Right.
that 3 data copies, 2 different media types, 1 copy on air gapped offline copy, 1 immutable
Correct.
copy with 0 errors. You can implement automated integrity verifications. There are multiple tools available in the
Perfect.
market. It's a strategy that you can adopt.
Perfect. So Deepak, I was looking for this answer only because 3 copy is very, very important. This strategy is very,
Yes.
very crucial for organization to recall if something happens to the critical sets of the uh, system. Where Vijayant was talking about, I could able to recollect one
Eggs
of the
in different
case where
baskets. Eggs in
no,
different
there is
baskets.
so
True.
so there was an incident happen that in a one organization through two threat actor was targeting and they all are fighting together. This is hacked by me, this is hacked by me, and the organization was whom to contact. So that was a problem, so I had dealt with that problem as well. So
That was a
it was a
recognition
really
issue.
yeah, yeah.
True.
True. So
And
one person is
Hetal,
encrypted. Yeah, yeah,
true.
Vinay.
Hetal, one thing is that, whatever we talked about ransomware, that is all about till the ransomware happens. So my best prayers with any organization that it should not happen. But suppose it
Hmm,
happens, the PIR and what happens after ransomware is an entirely different call, which will have to be conducted on a separate topic or separate meet. But having said that, what Vijayant and Deepak mentioned, very important. If you have got a good
hmm,
backup strategy, that's going to actually
correct,
help you come down in that negotiations and give less ransom. I'm sure
right,
Vijay will be able to add to that because if you have got proper copies of your critical data, when you negotiate,
correct.
you can actually, bring down that negotiation cost. Number one.
No, you can
Number
hold.
two,
You can
go ahead,
also
please.
hold that conversion and also buy the time. Because they give us the time.
Very
So
true.
you can also buy the time and on a side by side, you can start recovering your system. The moment you get the confidence, you can say, okay, go. I don't know to pay you. Thank you very
That's right.
much.
Very true. And just to add to Vikas' point, handling a ransomware and bringing the company out of it is actually a metamorphosis. You're going to have a new company altogether once you come out of a ransomware incident. Uh,
Hmm,
Having said so, it's very important that your teams are already identified what would happen during the moment. Because I'll tell you, a
correct,
typical ransomware attack, just to get it recovered, it will take anywhere between 2 weeks to 2 months, depending upon
correct,
how exactly you're prepared for it. And a typical
correct.
team in a ransomware attack, especially the IM team, will have to work non-stop. I repeat, non-stop for
Absolutely
48 hours to 72 hours. I'm not sure how
correct.
many people in the industry can sustain beyond 10 hours, right?
Yeah,
So the teams who actually bring the companies back, they are an expert in altogether different skill set. You'll have to
correct,
cultivate such teams by giving them constant training, practice, and a mentality shift in terms of how to bring up an entire server farm out there, especially looking
correct.
into your asset inventories, which have it or not. So getting
Yeah,
the
true,
company
true.
out, a totally different metamorphosis of the company is a totally different mind game altogether. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Correct, correct.
Now, Vinay,
So,
coming up to your point, understand the organizations are having the strength of 35 to 40,000 people working with them, and they have got 35 to 40,000 endpoints, basically,
Yes,
because every person is having one or two laptops, or maybe one desktop and one laptop. So believe me, it becomes
yeah,
quite uh, impossible for an organization sometimes to keep a track of the inventories also, and
yeah.
that is where exactly is the biggest problem. So
Hmm,
definitely that's one area, and incident response workflows has to be there, and communication protocols, like who is going to communicate with whom in what kind of scenarios and how they are going to communicate and who will take the lead, because you cannot have multiple leaders at the same time.
hmm.
And I've seen the organizations fighting, that I will lead it, but losing the battle. So somehow there can only be one leader at a time. Somebody has to take a decision, maybe the CISO
Hmm.
or maybe CEO, whoever it is, and one person can actually execute the things, and that is how things can be managed and summed up like a pyramid, basically a pyramid structure, where exactly the single communication starts from the top and reaches the bottom with the same flow and the same command,
Yeah,
the same information.
very true.
yeah. So what you said is absolutely right. Where very, very crucial for the organization that know the asset, right? Because and then everybody's talking about that. And it is very important that every system says something, like Active Directory says something, number of assets, then the zero trust having number of asset, EDR says number of asset, VPN talks about number asset, identity management says number of asset. All need to be put together and combined and say what is the unique value of your assets, right? The moment you have that unique value of asset, then you will come to know what is my attack, internal attack surface and an external attack surface, and also tag those assets which are the mobile and unfixed and all of them. While we do all this kind of mapping, kind of homework inside, then probably you will be able to really target that if the attacker comes in, how and which way you'll be able to contain them. That's a very, very important piece where this, and in case some asset is coming up, right? So maybe somebody has went on maternity leave and he did not fix the patches and nothing happened. And the moment it comes in, the first and foremost thing should happen is to fix that, whatever the weaknesses, vulnerabilities, it has to be compliant and then only get the network access. That's how the zero trust has started coming in, right?
Perfect.
So that's what we should, because if in the COVID scenario, what used to happen, right? In COVID scenario, if you do not have a COVID, then you are ready to travel. You can travel outside. But if it's yours COVID, then you want to contain. The same thing for the system is also, right. If there is any kind of non-compliances in terms of patching, in terms of software, and whatever it could be, in maybe admin privileges or some second account is created, it has to be compliant, and then access should be enabled to access the enterprise application and critical application. That's very key things which we learn. So I just wanted to, it was a really wonderful discussion with you all. So I wanted to wind up this session and wanted to ask our audience if they have any questions about on the same subject. Vivek? So it was a wonderful discussion.
Thank you.
Hi, yes, it definitely was. Hi, everyone, again. Thank you so much, Mr. Presswala, for driving this discussion. And very special thanks to all our panelists, Mr. Vijayant, Gaur, Mr. Deepak, Saini, Mr. Vikas, and Mr. Vinay. It was lovely to have this discussion, getting your insights, timely insights, and I think it was a very productive session. It's just that we've run over time, so we've taken the questions. We urge the audience members to send us the questions, and we'll send the questions to you by email and get them answered. I think some of our speakers need to leave as well.
Oh,
so we'll take the questions offline. Yeah, we've already exceeded time. Yeah, I think the discussion was so fruitful, none of us kept track of time there. So
everybody was, wow, that's really great.
Yes,
But
thank you so much.
I would like to say something here before winding up, that the heartfelt thanks to my expert panel for their valuable insight. Really, really, I really enjoyed. For all of you, the active participant, it's really kind of, I feel it's really, we are trying, all of them trying to resolve the ransomware problem now. So, and dedication strength and the cyber posture. And a special thanks to Cyber India for choosing such a timely topic and assembled a truly exceptional panels. Really great and thoughtful curated, made today's discussion both relevant and impactful. And I would say, let's keep the conversation going, sharing knowledge, challenging assumptions, whatever we have, and working towards the future where the resiliency is not just a response, but is a standard. That's what we need to aim towards.
And this is just the beginning. We as a platform are looking forward to having many such important conversations in the future. And of course, leading up to our event, which once again, I'd like to just remind everyone, we're coming back with our second edition on 15th and 16th of April 2026 in Expo in Mumbai. So if you haven't downloaded the brochure already, please do, and follow us on LinkedIn to stay updated. All right. Thank you, everyone, and wish you all a safe, secure, and productive evening ahead. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Awesome meeting you all. Thank you.
Bye-bye.